Welcome to the Lost Lowdown podcast 197 with your hosts Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
Hey, we're back continuing our season 6 commentary series with episode 613, The Last Recruit.
Woo!
There's no more recruits, guys.
The end of recruitment.
There was a bunch of recruits, and now this is the last one. So don't expect there to be more recruits. This is the last one.
If you were only listening because you wanted to hear about recruits, you should
Mhm.
stop listening now.
Yeah, if you thought Lost was about an endless number of recruits, we're here to tell you the list ends because here's the last one.
It really makes it seem like we've never seen the show and we've just heard the title of the episode.
That's true. There's no proof to the contrary.
Yeah, so this one, right? I mean, who could ever forget The Last Recruit?
I mean, if you forgot the last recruit, then what have you been doing the last 40 years? Other things but remembering the last recruit? Because that would be plausible. Yeah, so I remember this. What do I remember about this? I don't know. Is this the one where Jacob finally comes back and he's like, "Hey guys, here's
Nah, that's
what's
what they die
up."
for.
Oh, that's what they die for. Then I don't remember
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I think there's good reason for that, and we'll find out soon. Honestly, I don't remember the whole episode either, but I can kind of infer from what is not in it. Because, like, basically, I know what happens in The Candidate, I know what happens in Across the Sea, I know what happens in What They Died For, and I know what happens in the end. So basically, it's like none of that stuff. So everything else must be in this episode that we haven't seen already. Which includes so like one thing I remember from this episode is I'm pretty sure this is the episode where Widmore starts like firing rockets at them.
Ah, mm-hmm.
We
The
get,
war,
the war. This is the war
the titular
episode.
war. Yes, the last war crew. Yes, we
Yeah,
remember.
exactly. Yeah, so I think some stuff like they get I don't remember how it all shakes out, but I think they get like captured by Widmore and like put in the cages and
Mm.
then like the smoke monster comes and like attacks the camp. I don't know. They disable the fence. I think we're gonna get our Sunjin reunion.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right.
Sun will remember how to speak English because that makes sense. And then like the smoke monster comes in, and then like Widmore starts firing the rockets, and then like I think there's this line where like I think at the end it's like the smoke monster. I think he's like, "It's okay, Jack. You're with me now," or something, and they try to like make
Mm.
that an
Mm-hmm.
ending. And then I think the Flash Sideways stuff is mixed. I don't think there's any more actually centric episodes,
Mm-hmm.
unless you count Across the Sea. I guess Across the Sea is sort of a centric Jacob Man in Black kind of episode, but it's a flashback. I don't think there's any more centric Flash Sideways stuff.
Ways, yeah.
I think it's gonna cut between them, and they're gonna like pick up, like Locke got hit by the car, and like I remember like they're all going to the hospital, like Sun's going to the hospital too,
Mm-hmm.
and Saeed's brother was in the hospital, so there's just like a lot of hospital stuff. Yeah, obviously like Jack works at the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
um, so
Lost Hospital.
there's gonna be, yeah, exactly, there's gonna be like a lot of hospital crossover kind of stuff happening.
Hope they have their
um
copays. What's your deductible?
is there health insurance in the afterlife?
Oh dear God, I hope so.
I'm just wondering.
Because your death is a pre-existing condition, so I hope it's covered.
Oh no, oh no. I'm sorry, but nothing is covered because you died already.
You died already. You already died. Why are you getting insurance for your health? You're dead.
Yeah, it
So
kind of
wait,
makes
I
sense.
don't need health insurance? Oh no, you need it. There'll be 1 billion death dollars, please.
Yikes.
Who knows how the afterlife works?
$10. Um And yeah, I think they're like setting up like the big concert and
The
whatever else.
concert. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah, some bullshit going on. I know there's like, yeah, a lot of like converging shit.
Mhm.
So I kind of remember that like vaguely. I don't remember specifically what happens, but I think it's gonna be that. And I don't know. Besides that, I feel like it's another yet another. I mean, I think it does like it blows up the Widmore storyline more or less literally like after this, it's just like Widmore and Zoe in a boat, like desperately, like trying to do who even knows what. Um, they don't even explain, but like this
They
is
don't even explain.
no, they really don't. Like they show up, they wash up at the barracks, in their boat, and
That's
they
a T-shirt I want. I want the front to say "Lost" and the back to say "They don't even explain." That's the T-shirt I want.
have. But then like the Man in Black shows up, and he basically just kills him, and so it's just like, well, I guess that was it. The end. Like they tell him where Desmond is, or Widmore tells him where Desmond is
Hmm.
because he promises not to kill Penny. Like it's so stupid. I can't even. I guess Ben actually shoots Widmore, but he can't save his daughter. Like it's a very contrived like way to try to wrap up the Ben Widmore conflicts. Um, that yeah, it doesn't
Contrived.
so contrived. So underwhelming after all that, They had some great moments, but man, it really came down to so little at the end.
Hmm.
It's just sad. So this is like Widmore's last stand, basically. He did set the bomb that is going to blow up the submarine, but Man in Black is the one who plants it on the submarine and like rewires it to have this really specific thing where like it can
Yeah.
only blow up if they decide to disarm it. Like it's some weird
Hmm.
shit. It doesn't make any sense.
I
So it's
remember
like he didn't kill them because they did
they
it.
killed themselves
Yeah,
and
they killed
like
themselves. It's just like
logical technicality.
yeah, yeah. It's just like, really? Like, oh, how about you shoot them and say, like, well, I didn't kill it, it was the bullet. It entered
Hmm.
their body, and that's I didn't do it. Like, it's just like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you
Uh,
could do that.
I know, actually maybe it would work, and he just never
Yeah.
tried. I wouldn't rule that out, but yeah, it's sort of the end of the listless period. I think things happen in terms
Hmm.
of action. So I'll give it credit on that front, but in terms of the end game, it really is just like setting, putting people in places, getting groups together, blowing up other. It's the end of the others too. This is the last we'll see
Yeah.
of the others. Like they
Hmm.
get blown up by the rockets, and they just like run away. And like I guess like I remember at the time like presuming they were all dead, and only finding out from the Lost Encyclopedia that like I don't know, like Cindy survived or something. There was some
Hmm.
shit in there. Like, oh, okay. What am I supposed to do with that? And then what? Like, why? For what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who cares? I mean, no offense, but like, yeah, I don't
And
know.
someone has to take care of the kids.
There's such a waste of time. Like, yeah. Well, I guess that's it.
That's it. It's
Zach
the
and
only
Emma,
reason. Zach and Emma. Zimma, please.
Zema, as
Uh,
prefer to be called.
yeah, yeah. The others we hardly knew ye, right?
Yeah,
It's
literally.
such a weird. I think the end of the other should have been Cindy in the temple saying, "Wait, what?" Like during sundown, been like, "Wait, what?" Like, you guys said all this stuff about Jacob, and you guys convinced me of all this stuff, and I've been taking care of these kids, and like, what? And this guy's just here to kill us all, and we're supposed to just go with him.
Yeah,
I feel like there should have been a moment where her story got a bit of a spotlight from her perspective,
yeah,
being on Oceanic A15, being taken by the others pretty early, and living her life through that lens the rest of the show. I think in season 6 it would have been really great for her to like step up and like chime in and say like what did she think happened, what was worth it, what wasn't worth it, like why
right.
did you go with them, why were you convinced they were okay, like, or were you, you know
Yeah.
um Did Ben promise he would let you leave and never came through on it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it just would have been interesting at that moment for her in particular to voice a particular section of the others, to be
Yeah.
like the well-intentioned we could imagine, right? And then just be
Right.
like, okay, what, huh? What's happening here?
Yeah. 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 It would have definitely developed it a little more, and that would have been better than. It makes me think that given where it goes, I feel like why didn't they just have the smoke monster kill all the others at the temple? Because like
Hmm.
they survived for what?
Because he's not a bad guy.
Like, oh, is that the only reason? Just to like portray, to throw you off, and to set up the quote unquote surprise that he
Hmm.
tries to kill all the candidates on the
Hmm.
submarine? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's actually a good point. That might be the only reason they didn't kill him then, because they don't do anything. They literally sit around and do nothing since then until they blow up in this episode,
Hmm.
which is really, yeah, it's a huge disappointment. I yeah, that would have been nice. It's a good point because it's a touch in terms of the characters we know. Like, she's kind of the only one left, like all of the others that we know have like kind of basically
Yeah,
disbanded or disassociated from the
or been
others,
killed.
or been killed. Yeah, obviously. That happened a few times. So yeah, it would have been an interesting perspective, and I did always want to know, like, and we talked about it a few times as we went on, like what it was like for the rank and file,
Hmm.
um, what they were told and how they were convinced. She had such a weird attitude about the others, and I don't think they ever fully explained it. It
Yeah.
was just kind of like, it was mysterious when it needed to be, and then when it was over, it was just like, I don't know. They didn't feel the need to say anymore. It was just like, yeah, Cindy's another whatever. Like, go to the
Whatever.
submarine now. Like, we don't care.
Yeah,
I
why
don't
are you
know.
talking to us?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're sitting on logs. What more do you want?
Sitting on
God.
logs. Logs aren't comfortable.
So yeah, I think this is probably, I'm gonna say, I mean, I know, like, um in a way it's true of every episode, or every episode until the last one besides Across the Sea, like after this one. But I do also feel like in another way this is the final, like, setup episode, before they move into end game mode, you
Mm-hmm.
know I think like the candidate is the catalyst for that, and then, what they died for is sort of like, here's your mission, and then, because now they've told us enough from Across the Sea to like have, well,
Yeah.
not too much of an idea, but a little bit of an idea of like what the power source of the island is and what they need to protect, and
Mm-hmm.
so then Jacob can tell them about that, and then, yeah, then we can go into the finale where it's like, protect the cave light thing. Like, okay.
Oh, jeez.
That's gonna be the big point. Like, okay. And no plan either, like, it's amazing. They just like luck into the way to defeat the smoke monster, because like they have no plan up until the
Well,
final
it
episode.
was destined that way, or
Yeah, that's pretty much a show right there.
not.
It was destined that way or not.
Hmm. Or the Lindelof shuffle is it was destined that way, but then it changed, or
Mm,
it was never destined that way and then it changed.
yeah,
The tricky third option.
right.
Well,
Right.
I can't wait to get into this episode because everything you've just said is so interesting and titillating, scintillating, and tantalizing is what I was going for. Uh,
Scintillating and tantalizing.
what is it? Scintillating and tantalizing. Those are words, right?
Yes.
Okay. And not titillating,
And
tantalizing,
tantalizing.
scintillating. It's all those words. I can't wait for the last recruit. Man, this is like the best episode of the 13th episode of the season 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's a true statement.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. There's not a better 13th episode of season 6 than The Last Recruit.
There will never be.
No, there won't ever be. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, get ready with your streamers. If you're going to stream in this digital age,
Stream along.
along with us for some streaming of The Last Recruit. Stream. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, play. Bruce on Lost. Bruce on Lost. Sawyer found love and some freckles. Jin
Or
was
did he?
frozen,
Oh yeah.
and this guy had a gun in his neck,
Ooh.
and Sun got shot accidentally.
Oh no.
And now she's pregnant with a bullet.
Well, when that happens.
Locke should have valet parked and he's regretting it.
At a high school. I
Saeed
love
went for a
that.
swim. Desmond is an arborist.
Oh right.
Trees so much. And now he's a wellist and then
Yep.
he's living a well. Wait, the Coalition of the Willing.
Oh shit, I just remembered what's happening at the beginning of this. I forgot that this is how that started.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump in.
That's all good.
Yeah. The big meeting.
Who is you? Oh, is this what we're going to talk about? You were my father on the beach back
Yep.
then?
Yep, that's what I was just thinking about. I forgot that was in this episode.
You know, old time. You play the son, I'll play the dad. We'll play catch.
So disappointing. Like, I want other people to go so they can ask their questions too. Can we just have question time?
This isn't a public forum. This is private counsel. Don't mustard.
It's definitely interesting to have Jack like consult Hurley about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely unusual. I guess they didn't want to abandon the Hurley as a leader idea from the last episode.
Mm-hmm. Great line. What the fuck are you?
Sure you do. That's the answer. I wish you would elaborate those points a little bit.
Good though. That's a good line though. You have to be dead for you to look like him.
Yeah.
It's
So many.
line.
So
Yeah.
many.
Yeah. Nice. Get it, Jack. Oh, look at that. Woo!
That was so easy.
Answer anything on the show. This is a huge answer.
It definitely is.
Oh, wow. That was the reason.
See, he's kind of lying though, so I feel a bit uncomfortable with that answer.
This is super weird because now he's in the lie. So this is the Lindelof waltz where like,
Yeah.
the truth gets obfuscated, but a lie gets obfuscated by the truth.
Yeah.
So now that he was being truthful before, he can start lying, and we still believe him.
Right.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a huge thing. I have
Like,
to kill all of you. So
what? Like, you just made that up? Like, why? It's just like, I know, like, they let Miss Hawking get away with that, but.
And the difference is
I know. I mean, don't suckers believe? Like, I don't really understand. Wow, Ben rode in the ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a Scotsman.
Is that him remembering his previous life? Because
He was
he's
with Helen in The Flash Sideways too.
there. Okay.
But I agree that the line is blurred,
Mm-hmm.
which they're about to do here as well.
Yep. Baby. Somebody just said that. So. Oh man, can you imagine having your baby and John Locke shows up? If you're at all superstitious, you're like, nope.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Different hospital.
Yeah, turn around.
Home birth. Fuck it.
Who dat?
Oh, it's
Hey,
Claire.
Vincent.
It's me
Oh,
brother.
Because I know the thing you didn't think I knew.
Right? They haven't even talked about this. So it's like, yeah, they're just like checking some boxes here.
Now they get whoever has the torch has to catch up with the next person.
You're right. It's
Oh.
a handoff.
It's a catch up torch. Did Claire see him?
Yeah.
Oh, that whole other time.
The season 4 stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm. I wish that was true. I wish that meant something.
Yeah, they're really trying to like play this up.
Yeah. I wish. I mean, it's so cool. It's so interesting. I just wish it was true in some way and not like an idea some people just get to say because they don't know any better.
Right.
You know, it's so
Yeah.
interesting.
It is weird that, yeah, like I wonder where she got that idea because it is really similar to what Dogen was saying.
Mhm.
Although maybe Dogen said it to her because she was captured by
That's
the
what I'm
others.
saying. It'd be great if that was true in a tangible way and Claire realizes that because she lived through it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Yeah.
but like, yeah, it's zombie. Wow.
Dark side. Don't say nothing to no one. Okay.
Wow.
I think don't say nothing to no one means say something to someone.
Mm-hmm. It's apple time.
Ooh. Oh boy. Like it's weird to offer someone an apple that you just took a bite from.
No, he had a second apple.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was the
Oh,
same.
you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was weird for a second. I just feel like they have to acknowledge that they both have the same taste in jackets, and I feel like it's just this subtext here that like is part of the sexual tension.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know, the thing that fails about the Flash Sideways and this whole idea that we're supposed to be interested in like these people sort of remembering in this reality that they have this huge connection that transcends space and time, you know, related to the island. Like it's like the thing that fails in the end is that you think they're going to wake up and discover the relationship with the island and each other, and then therefore realize what the island means and why they went there and what it was all
Mm-hmm.
about, but they don't. They say, no, 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 wake up. But it's the answer is not the past. The answer is about where you're going next.
Right.
And I think that's
Yeah.
what contributes to not really making this landing, because that's a cool idea and feeling, right? Like, oh, all these people, and we know, the audience, the dramatic irony, right? The audience knows more about these characters than the characters do in the Flash Sideways, and we want them to understand like the huge things they went through and all their deep connections. But I think we want that in service of, well, what is the island and why are they there? What's the point of the show? But like the show's like, no, 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 it's not about the past. It's about walking through the church doors at the end,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
weird. Because then it's,
It is weird.
oh, okay, fine, but you're not really satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really centering the thing we just got through watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, trying to open a new door, if you will.
Literally, it's our bad guy. Why? Because he's brown skinned. Is that why?
I know, right? Racial profiling. All right.
Institutional lostism? Jeez.
I love that. Jack has no idea what she's talking about.
What did she say?
She said she's different now, referring to Claire. And
Oh,
then Jack's like, I guess we're all different now.
yeah, no. Because
So
Claire
that's
came off to him being normal.
yeah, I know. She didn't seem that crazy. It's
Yeah.
weird. I guess that goes back to Hurley's like, you can come back from the dark side.
TV's Lives Lemon.
Yeah, indeed. Number two.
Yeah, no, he just made a call. Oh, here come the missiles.
Yep, it's missile time.
We can send missiles, man. Man, how did they know no one was over there?
I know.
Hmm. So Widmore wants Desmond back so he can what?
I know. Yeah, so he can. We're never gonna find out. That's why. That's why he was whittling that stick.
That was it. He needed something to shoot that walkie-talkie with.
Or WPAA.
WPAA, yes, that's what he made up.
Why don't you hit her with a car?
Right? Yeah.
Apparently that's okay. I never got your name, but I'll just read it while you
Yeah.
write it.
Yeah, it's weird that he's like so impatient.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to rush through all these encounters, and it's weird. There's no ticking clock. That's what's weird, right? It's not like, oh, we got to do this before Man in Black leaves the island, or else we'll never
Right.
have our afterlife, or whatever. It's just he's just so impatient to get to Penny that
Yep.
everyone
It's
else's
like
afterlife gets ruined because of it.
rush, rush, rush. Like, come on, just like whatever, do your thing. Come on,
Yeah.
wake up. Oh, right. I forgot about this. Okay. Yeah, this is weird.
I'm confused because if he's expecting them to all wake up from this fake reality, why is he talking to her about this?
I think it's a distraction, but we'll see.
Because I'm stalking you.
Yeah. It's,
What a hard sell.
yeah, this just doesn't like, it's like,
Yeah. No one's this nice.
doesn't seem trustworthy at all. It's like you're going to go into some kind of murder dungeon.
Take your organs.
Yep. Yeah, this is weird. This is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because, like, she
Don't make him
doesn't.
yet. He hasn't done anything. Oh.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting that Desmond already knows Alana,
It is.
but he's awake and Alana's not.
I don't think they ever met either in real life.
Yeah.
So it's very strange.
I need to get her bank account and social security number.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's a different version. It's like a fancy scam.
Yeah, exactly. They just moved in that office that day and all the
Yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah. Spanish prisoner kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
Look at those others. God.
These people. Why?
Is that a confrontation? I guess because they're there. See the picture of the boat I drew there?
It was great. Starts with boats and ends with boats. That's enough. Yeah, this is the move out music to like get everything set up for the final end game music,
Yeah.
like mission time. The backstabby kind.
Yep.
Damn. He doesn't know they're brothers and sisters, right?
No. He shouldn't know that. I don't think anyone's told him.
Wow.
And
this is
Jack didn't
crazy.
mention it either, so.
Yeah.
Oh no. This is when that happens. Yes, can we specify what that is?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's so awkward. You still want what you asked me for, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
just
how
say
you
the
keep the
fucking
conversation
thing.
secure, from prying listeners like the audience.
It's so annoying. Like, here's the scene. Wow, we're already here.
Yep.
I did not remember that this scene is in here. All right, so here's where Desmond.
Freeze! Don't move.
He's gonna
That.
talk Saeed out of being evil.
Yeah. He offered me what I asked for. I think the worst thing about being in this well is just being partially wet all the time.
I totally agree. Wet ass pants, like, ugh.
It's like that never dry, like
Yeah.
just a little bit in water, like
Here it is.
because love can do anything. Oh, Locke? Oh,
Yeah. I don't know where. Why do you think that? Where did you get that
can't
idea?
take credit for that.
This is the first time anyone's ever said that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like now they're gonna pivot, but it's like that was a huge assertion. I just can't believe he just
Yep.
casually says that. I killed a guy.
Mm-hmm. Telling nothing.
So yeah, it's still ambiguous. I guess he's talking about Shannon technically. Like I don't know.
Weird.
It's really weird that they actually have Naughty in this episode.
Mm-hmm. So yes.
That is what that means. Uh-oh. Is this Sawyer? No. It's Miles. Okay.
Just pack. Why did he move the suitcase?
Oh, right. I forgot the big hose trick.
Oh, he hosed him.
He got hosed.
Hosed. It was so dumb. That's not the Saeed I know. He would have gotten hosed like that. Is that Desmond's boat?
There she blows. Come on, really? That's like that's supposed to be a whale, not a boat. But okay, whatever.
It's pirate talk.
Ouch.
Boom. Plan succeeded.
Accomplished. Oh right, Kate's the one who's not gonna put up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Jack's like, whatever, it's fine.
That's a great question. Answer it.
Ugh, I gotta walk out there. No outrigger.
Nope.
Oh, it's a swim. Okay.
Yeah, it's a swim.
I guess you can't walk like that far.
You're not Jesus.
Wow. It's the
So which
final
one?
others trick.
Right? They're all dead. All
They're
these people.
so dead.
Bye, guys.
It's been
the
real.
final walk of the others. But he lied to you the whole time.
Yeah. Doesn't that break the trust a little bit?
That was the thing.
Also, like, he's the reason they abandoned you, so
Yeah.
that should count for something. Like, he literally in front of you told Locke, "Don't tell anyone you saw her here."
This is the scene where she's like, "You
Oh
hate
yeah,
me." He's like, "No,
yeah, you're right.
this is famous." He has no idea. He's like, and women lie. That's
I know. God. Why you
Yeah,
always lying?
Weinstein her. He's like, no, it didn't do
Such
anything.
lies.
Everybody
Uh-oh.
matters. Let's break off.
Yeah. A-Team. Yeah, he didn't take Claire.
No. And this is making her more distrustful of like
Yep.
bitches. I just told you. I stayed with him because he didn't abandon me, and then
Yeah.
he again.
And now they abandoned it. Yeah, that's totally why she said that. But it's just like, I just think they're not remembering exactly how it played out. Because it wasn't just like she was abandoned in the middle of the jungle. Like, she was taken away, and he specifically said, "Don't tell anyone you saw her here." Like,
That's not what a zombie would say.
mm-hmm. I remember at the time thinking, like, can he scan? Does he know if he's lying, or is it just like guesswork?
I think he can only scan in smoky form.
Yeah, you might be right. That would make sense. But it does seem like he could like change, do a scan, and then know for sure.
Wouldn't that have been cool if Man in Black actually brought Saeed back from the dead?
It would be. And I think maybe he did, or maybe he didn't. Maybe the sun scene is to tell us. Yeah. It is weird to follow it up with a sun scene where she's like, "You did this to me," and he's like, "No, I didn't."
Yeah.
Because, like, could you infer that if Saeed said
back,
the same thing, like,
yeah, it
that's
goes
what
back to
he'd
the thing
say?
I said earlier, where like these little character plot points should be leading to Man in Black realizing that the smoke monster is something apart from himself.
Yeah.
And that it's doing things he doesn't understand.
He doesn't even, he's not aware of. Yeah.
Yeah, and like that could have been a really interesting way to go.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That would have been a good way to reconcile it. He could still believe it, but just be wrong. And it would tie in better with the whole like keeping him there thing too.
Yep, exactly. And he realizes, oh, I am the monster they thought I was.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see it. What's with the purple shirts? I remember this from the original.
Yeah, it's a very purple shirt heavy season. I don't know why.
Everyone's got a lot of purple. So we're Sawyer. Thanks to time travel, Sawyer was there too. This is what I wanted to tell you at the temple when the smoke monster was attacking us.
Yeah, yeah. If I said it then, it might have helped a little more with the attacking later. All right.
All right, mate.
Guess I'm not claimed anymore.
I'm unclaimed. I've reclaimed my time for my life.
I guess that's a theme.
Okay. Well,
Like Desmond talks Saeed out of being claimed, and Kate talks Claire out of being claimed.
so the opposite of claiming someone is loving them.
I guess.
Oh, this kid.
Yeah, Purgatory Boy.
Purgatory Boy. Everyone calls him that. So like 5:15. Quick bite.
Wow.
Again.
She's like the one lawyer.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So I guess Desmond was facilitating this.
Ah. Why?
Like bringing them together is supposed to help them get their memories back,
Mm-hmm.
like it did with him and
Like,
Penny
how did
and
he know that that's
Hurley and Libby. Yeah, he would. I mean, supposedly he knew Alana, so he'd have to like have research or something that like Jack was gonna go there for a reading, and then like coincidentally Claire was going to the same building, and yeah, it's a bit much. And they were just gonna be there at the same time, and yeah.
It's a very great time.
Duty calls.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't have time to wake up from purgatory right now.
No, it's I should schedule it with my secretary.
Yeah, is that Desmond's boat? What was it? Elizabeth or something?
Mm-hmm. This sounds right.
Justy.
Justy. Justin McFly planes. Wow, that's a great plan.
What a plan.
He's like done.
Wow, he's fine with that.
Yep. I think Frank's a weird character too because as much utilities he had, he still had no connection to the island, no
Mm-hmm.
interest in the magical properties. No, he didn't really get to see the craziest things,
Yeah.
which is weird. It's almost like he should have been the Greg Grunberg pilot in the pilot episode.
Well, they did tell us that he was supposed to be the pilot of the
Yeah,
original
exactly.
plane.
I mean, like the one who lived and like
Right.
like who was around the whole time, right?
Yeah, maybe that's kind of what they're doing, like trying to rewrite that story.
Yeah. But he missed all the interesting parts. That's why
Right.
it doesn't really connect.
Yeah, no, that's true.
What do you say?
He's not sure about leaving the island.
Oh. Oh wow. Nice, Jack's figuring it out. He's
That
getting off the boat.
That is really close to the truth.
Oh, this is great. You're going in the water.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Jack's going to the water.
Uh-oh. Yep. We'll take a leap off the boat.
Yep. Get off my boat.
Get out the boat. Go now.
Sawyer's all about jumping off of a vehicle, like
Yeah, you're right.
mid journey. He's like, it's not too late just because we left.
Wow.
Like, no talking to Kate, no
Nope.
explaining. No, that's what Sawyer did. He just like left.
Yep.
This is the second time a man has left Kate while they
I
just
know.
had a plan of escape, and
You're
then
right.
just like, bye. What do you mean? Yeah, this is so weird. That makes no sense. Says the guy who went back last time. Wow, craziness, man.
It's weird to say that because, yeah, like he never left. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's- I don't even know what that means. We're done. Go. When did you go back before? What are you talking
yeah.
about?
Uh-oh.
Oh man, get a new shirt, Jan.
Get a new
Damn,
shirt.
it's got blood on it.
It's the fashion.
And you're not even married. You shouldn't be holding hands.
Because we're dead. And that baby's not real.
It's a fake baby.
Mm-hmm.
Our real baby will never know.
We didn't actually care a whole lot about our real child.
But we can bond over this fake one.
The fake one's great because it's all potential.
Fake one's way better.
Mm-hmm. Get a fake baby now.
Everyone should just have fake babies.
Call fakebaby.com for your fake baby.
Fuck off.
Yeah, too close to home, son. You're infected too, bitch.
You're not even real, so
Yeah, it's hereditary with your fake genes. Everyone's just watching him wash his hands. What?
Not the Dural sack.
Sack. Wow, that's the most important sack. Everybody knows that.
That's like, yeah, literally. Like,
Sack
if
of all the apotheosis of sex.
you just have one sack.
Yeah. You can. The body can survive with at least the drool sac intact. Otherwise,
Keep the sack intact.
that's where durability comes from. The drool sac.
You're right. You're right. Durability.
Yep. It's there. The word.
Yes, I think we knew it was Locke. Oh, I guess he didn't. Is that like conflict of interest? I don't know. Is that cool?
I think it's like a coincidence. He's like, huh, that's weird.
Masks like that are kind of triggering right now. I really
Yeah, right.
don't know how to tie those properly. I feel like I need to study
You
that a
will
little
learn.
better. God.
Oh, that's right. Jack's gonna be around for the war.
Yeah. You're with me now. I forgot that's how he ended up there.
And this would have been cool if somehow Jack talked himself into leaving. And then it would have been true that, oh, Jack, you were with him as soon as you agreed to talk to him. Like,
Right.
it would have been interesting if that's what happened. Like, Jack talked himself out of going with Sawyer, you know? But that's not really what happened.
No. No, he tried to talk them out of it, and then Sawyer forced him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really fit. And he was trying to undermine Man in Black too, so it didn't. It just doesn't seem like any of that was true. I guess you can shoot through the sonic fence. I don't know if you've ever seen that happen. Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
At long last, the
I remember
reunion.
thinking the fence wasn't off yet, and they were gonna like run
Yep.
the fence and die.
Everyone thought that.
Yeah,
I think there's like a brief line on the walkie-talkie, like
yeah.
turn off the pylon or something, but it's like,
Oh no! Oh no!
yeah,
Oh no! Oh, it's fine.
like they definitely should have been
It's like they didn't have
more.
to meet at the line of the fence.
No, they really didn't. They could
Yeah,
have had like they could have had Jin like come out from behind one of the pylons, and then
yeah.
they've already crossed before they're running towards each other. Because yeah, it's super awkward.
So she can speak English now that she used to talk to Jin, whose
Yeah,
first language is Korean.
yeah, I know. Like he can speak English now, but they never spoke English together before.
It's almost
Because
like speaking English was his challenge to learn, and she somehow subconsciously just couldn't speak English until she found him again.
hmm
It was like a weird like, well, if he's not around, I can't speak English.
yeah,
So weird, yeah.
yeah, it's
That's how deals work.
here comes the missiles.
Hmm. Getting down isn't really going to help.
Why not?
Well,
Yeah, they're not like firing bullets from like
hmm
chest level.
why not smoke it into a smoke monster and smoke it away?
Yeah, it does seem like that would be easier. Oh my god, is the episode over?
Close.
Huh? Wow. Okay, never mind. The cage stuff is in the next episode, apparently. I forgot. Wow, that ended so fast.
Well, well, well.
Very much like in the middle of things.
So who's the last recruit? Where did that title come from? Nobody ever said that.
I think Jack is supposed to be the last recruit, but it doesn't really make sense.
Recruit because Man in Black's recruiting, as Alana said,
Yeah.
and he's the last one to join Jack's side.
Yeah.
Which is weird because everyone else on Locke's team left.
Yeah.
Like, everyone who wasn't an other.
The last recruit is now the only recruit.
Yeah, who's like the only. Yeah, he's the only candidate who's with him now.
I mean, maybe Saeed.
Okay, Saeed is still with him. Okay, Claire was with him.
Claire, I feel like Claire is like, yeah, borderline. Like she sort of betrayed him by giving up her gun. But yeah, I think her final betrayal won't happen until later. Yeah, that was just so like, I don't know, it just felt so rushed at the end. It was just like, holy shit, I can't believe this episode is over.
So Sawyer wouldn't believe he wouldn't entertain the idea that Man in Black might be lying, and when he's saying we should all leave together, he that there might be some value in us staying. And so Sawyer is really all about like, no, 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 we really have to leave now,
Yeah,
because of Juliet, right? Like that
seemingly.
was for him,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so now he's all about leaving. Kate wants to leave with Claire. Claire doesn't know what she wants. She just
Yeah,
wants to like,
she's
not be abandoned by people, I guess, is the
pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's what it's boiling down to. It's yeah, it's kind of like it's a little bit like the Gaius Baltar thing from Battlestar Galactica, where it's like it's this whole thing, but it's just like, oh, I was just kind of lonely.
I'm too young for that reference.
Sorry.
So I was born in 2010.
Like I wasn't just blindly serving the Man in Black. It's just like he was like the only
Mm-hmm.
friend I had.
Mm-hmm. Who was lying to me the whole time, and I'm not mad about that at
But
all.
that's the best I could do. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they build that properly. It's like the only way it works is for us to ignore a lot of things, and yeah, I think that's usually a bad idea writing wise.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely frustrating.
You know what they should have done, right? Is when Claire and Jin meet up earlier in the season, and we see Claire for the first time, and she seems crazy, and the whole relationship with her and Rousseau, right? And she's like, "Oh, the other's got my baby," and all this stuff. Like that should have been the point where Jin helps Claire realize that, like, Man in Black. That first part of the season should have been Claire realizing that Man in Black lied to her, and then her confronting him about that, and then he can say, "Hey, listen, I might have lied to you about who had your baby, but I never abandoned you." And then that could be her. Okay, cool. I can still
Right.
love this guy because he never abandoned me like my friends did. And then later in this episode, when she says that, it would have some connection to what they set up previously. Right?
Right.
We understand that that's the underlying connection she has, right? Or
Yeah.
motivation she has, I should say. So she's weird.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of fine details that I wish the show had, you know,
Yeah.
and where you could really just nail down those things and have those just make sense and not like stick out like sore thumbs.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you can take it as subtext and it's just like really underwritten, but yeah, it's like they are trying to juggle a lot of things and definitely some characters are getting the short end of the stick as far as their story getting attention. And there's plenty of characters who get even less time than Claire does, um but yeah, I think it's very underdeveloped. And for what they're trying to do, I think yeah, I just think they shouldn't have done it like that unless they were willing to, spend a few extra seconds just clarifying like how she feels about what happened before and like why she's
Clarifying
doing what she's
Claire,
doing now. What?
clarifying Claire.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's sorry. I didn't good pun accidentally. I like that. I like that.
Clarifying. Um, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird how they're just really fine with isolated like story points that have no ending. And they're just like, yeah, that's fine.
Um yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they don't mind that.
Mm-mm.
Um uh so I mean I have a few bits and bobs that I want to dwell on a little bit.
Okay,
Um
start with those alternate bips and bobs.
okay.
One or the other. So, what's your
So
first?
here's the bit. Um so, going back to the first scene is really, I would say this first scene between Jack and Locke is probably the closest the show ever comes to
Mm.
my loophole episode,
Yeah,
in terms of like sitting the Man in Black down and having him kind of account for,
yeah.
the
What were
stuff
you
we've seen.
doing? What did you know, and when did you know it?
Yeah. Yeah. So, he admits being Christian. I do think it's like I get why, who else have you looked like? Jack, what do you really want to ask me? Like I get why it's like tedious if he just sits there, well, let me start with,
Because he doesn't know who Jack knows necessarily, and he might say names that Jack
yeah.
doesn't know, and then it's because there's thousands. Any number of names before Jack ever comes to the island, which is
Yeah.
relevant to Jack. So, and I didn't mind that. I totally agree with you. Like, it felt right naturally writing wise for him to pivot to saying, well, what do you really want to ask me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'Cause
You don't
that's
need to hear a
really
list of names you've never
because that's
heard.
really what he wants to actually know. It's not
Yeah.
just a deflection. It's actually like that's really what he's asking.
Right.
And it's great because we want Jack to ask to, we want characters to remember the things we remember,
Yeah.
and we want them to go, "Hey, that was just as important to me as it is to the audience." So
Yeah.
let me ask about this thing. So it was nice to get that clarity to just directly ask, "Hey, were you?" And he's like, and so what's weird is again they do this like shuffle, this waltz thing. I don't know what other dance music thing to call it.
It's always a dance.
Yeah, because it's a it's a dance because it entertains you while it moves your position, and you don't really, then you look up and you're somewhere else, but you
Hmm.
were having fun the whole time,
Right.
and yeah, it's just a weird thing with Lost that way, where you're like trying to figure out. He goes from, yeah, I lied to you by deceiving you into making you think I was your dad, but I did it for this reason that was good, which is you need to find water. And so now
Right.
we're we leave on, oh so this whole 6 years we thought he was torturing Jack or manipulating Jack or whatever reason he was trying to impersonate Shepard, Christian. But then the reveal is, oh, I was trying to save your life, and you're like, wait, no, we need more. Now we have more questions here
Yeah.
than we started with.
Yeah. But like the pivot is to the current plan,
Mm-hmm.
which seems like kind of weak because it's like, okay, why weren't you doing anything after that? Like that was like day 3. You never showed up after that to be
Well,
like,
I was
let's
gonna say,
leave.
actually, devil's advocate. I was gonna just say they could have done a thing where he says, where Jack could go, yeah, oh, really, like he could have been skeptical, right, or cynical about the whole thing, and said, oh, you leave us the water, but how about all the other times we almost died? Where were you then, right?
Right.
Where was Guy when I needed him? And he could have said, hey, who was there when Kimi showed up, huh? Who stopped Kimi, right? And that would have been a thing that he could have
Right.
like completely put in his corner, been like, yeah, this is a tally mark for me.
It would have tied that together a little better.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And then he says, hey,
true.
Jack, all I've ever wanted was to protect you guys. And
Yeah.
even though we know that's wrong, they could have at least stated the case from his perspective in a way that was truthful, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like,
And that feels a
by
little more
truthful,
believable.
I mean like verified by the facts of the case,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he's trying to deceive them, right? Ultimately,
Just on the surface, like all I've ever been interested in is helping you. Like, it just sounds
yeah,
like such
it's so
bullshit.
tough. It's so tough. That's a tough.
Like, really? So when you killed the pilot, you were helping us? Like, what?
Mm-hmm,
Like that just it makes no sense. Like, what?
mm-hmm.
Seriously?
Yeah, when I
When
was
you
hunting you guys in the jungle, like,
when you
yeah,
killed Mr. Echo, you were helping us? When you like I don't like it doesn't add up at all. Like the Kimi thing, sure, that's probably that's the thing he needs to emphasize.
well,
But it's
it's
like,
funny that you mentioned Mr. Echo. You're making me think of something of an interesting vantage point about Echo in relationship to this episode now, because he seemed to suggest that Locke, part of the failings of Locke was him believing that he was on the island for a reason.
mm-hmm.
And that's really where Echo got to by the end.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
wanted, because I was just kind of trying to play devil's advocate when you were saying that, rattling off those things, and I was like, okay, well, what would Man in Black say about, oh, I've always wanted to help you guys, and in relationship to him killing Echo, it's like, well, maybe he would say Echo was a believer in the island means something more than it does, and I needed to kill him because he was going to infect you guys with that
Mm-hmm.
ideology. He was on. So I was like, oh, maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's why Echo's gone. Like from
Sure.
Man in Black's perspective, like anyone who believes in this mystical reason of being on the island is automatically on his hit list.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's the thing.
Yeah. What about Rousseau's team? Like, why did you attack them? Like, I don't know. Maybe they don't even know that because, like, the only one who saw, I don't know. Jin sort of knows that now, but I don't know if
Mhm.
Jack does. It's a bit confusing. Rousseau didn't really
Well,
tell
none
the
of those people
story.
were candidates. Theoretically. So maybe when he says, "I only, do all this to protect you," it's just relating to the candidates.
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. He could say that. He could say that. Um,
But it could be. I wanted to. It's like what's the famous Twilight Zone episode about the aliens eating people? The cookbook thing, how to cook humans.
yes, how to
You
to
know,
serve man.
to serve man. There it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like everything I did was to protect you guys. so I could round you up all later and kill you in one fell swoop. You know, is it that kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's that kind of thing now, but yeah. Um,
But yeah, that's the point. Is he is that what he means? Like, has he always had the same agenda, or is he lying?
hmm Yeah, I think that's really hard to know. So
Mhm.
like the other thing that bothers me about that part is, it just frustrates me. So like one thing that frustrates me is Jack can't ask about stuff he doesn't know about. So he can't say, "Was that you that Michael saw right before the freighter blew up?" He
Yes.
can't say, "Was that you that Hurley saw in the cabin and that Locke met with in the cabin?" Like he can't, he can't ask those questions, but you know what he can fucking ask that I really wish he had is,
What?
"Was that you I saw off the island in the hospital when the smoke alarm went off?"
Hmm.
You know? Like, and if so, what's this bullshit about you can't leave? Anyway,
Well, that's
I
the reason
just
you'll never ask that.
I just wish he had brought that up, that seeing him off the island, and also um the fact that oh, you know what, he does fucking know because Christian told Locke, "Tell my son I said hello." Locke tells him that. So again, he doesn't mention that part, right? Which is a clue about the loophole, like he's verging. It's like Jack only mentioned the one encounter that's kind of isolated from the loophole because it was so early, and
Hmm.
it's easy to just write it off in like a couple of lines. But if he brought up those later ones, it would have been harder to like brush those off. And I feel like that's the only reason he doesn't bring them up. But those are more recent for Jack. I mean, the lock thing wasn't even that long ago. It was like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, maybe?
Hmm.
Like, it's just weird. He's bringing up this thing from 3 years ago, but he
Well,
literally,
because they're
like,
coming full circle with the whole ending of the show.
yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying that there's some more recent, but those things were less impactful.
But like, it's a clue in terms of like figuring out what's going on. Like, if he puts it together that, oh,
Oh,
wait a
Jack's
minute.
not trying to figure out what goes going on. There's no evidence Jack is trying to figure out what's going on.
This is what I want, though. This is why I'm disappointed. Like, you're right, but like, I wish he had been able, because there are limits on what he can confront him with, but he has more information than he acts like he does.
Hmm.
And yeah, I wish there had been a little bit more of a confrontation there, aside from just this early thing, because I feel like this early thing is just the least important in terms of the current story you know
But it's the most important for Jack's character arc.
yeah, I know
There
I
lies the
know
rub.
I know, but I always felt like, the whole, like, your father said, "Tell my son I said hello," drawing him back there. I always
Hmm.
felt like that was an arc that was never completed. That's why I
Hmm.
always wanted the Man in Black to turn into Christian. I always wanted there to be like an end point
Well,
to
you're
that
right.
idea.
'Cause Jack should have said, "Why my father's shoes?" Why
Yeah.
did I need to make Locke have my dad's shoes and this whole thing of coming back and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, there's some more recent things that could have been pertinent to his understanding of what's happening.
Now that you say that, another connection occurs to me, which is, the line that Man in Black is giving now is, we have to all leave together. You know,
Yep.
that's the only way we can leave, and that's exactly what Miss Hawking said.
Hmm.
And I feel like there's another potential there, especially, if you put that together with the idea that, he sent Locke as well to bring them back. That, like, oh, were you behind bringing us back here? Like, did
Hmm.
you need us here? And if you are behind bringing us back here, why do you want us to leave now?
Hmm.
Again, like, it all seems very suspicious, and they have the information they need, but it doesn't. It's, yeah, you're right that he's not
Yeah,
trying to figure it out.
and the yeah, and again, the problem is related to that is that it was like, oh, we got to come back to the island to figure out why we need to come back to the island, and then once they come back to the island, they're like, oh, we got to leave the island,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
and
a
they
bit
never
much.
figure out why they even needed to come back in the first place, which would relate to why, if they need to leave, if they do need to leave, and so
Yeah.
that it's like this game of hot potato where they just keep passing the buck.
Yeah. Every time it's like, we have to leave. We have to go back. We have to leave
Mhm.
again.
Mhm.
Like, really? Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
it's
think,
and what's weird is that and from the character's perspective, right? It's not usual that your physical location has an effect on metaphysical space time, So this idea
hmm,
that them being on the island prevents Man in Black from leaving is not something that's intuitive. So this idea
yeah.
that we need to be here for some reason that's specific to our not our journey or our character or anything like that, but just in terms of like something is activated, based on our location, right? Like that's just not a normal thing to understand. So I could see Sawyer, so I can understand if Sawyer's not interested in like the why are we here metaphysical question,
Hmm.
philosophical question, but there's this other part of it that's like, oh, we're this like cork that's keeping Man in Black
Yeah.
from leaving. And I think if Sawyer had heard that argument, he might have been more susceptible
The
to
more concrete thing. Don't make it about destiny. Just make it about,
it.
like,
Exactly.
this
Yeah, we're
guy
the
who's,
warden. Yeah, you're LaFleur, and you've got a
yeah.
prisoner, and if you leave the prison, he's gonna escape, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like make it more pragmatic. He knows enough, and clearly he doesn't trust the Man in Black because he's betraying him. So it's
Ah!
like, it does feel like they could find a way
hmm
to, to like reconcile. It's just like, I don't want to hear about destiny, but like I do want to live. you know
Yeah.
and that could have been like a point of, I
hmm
don't know, yeah, like common
Like
cause
if
or
they said,
something.
hey, James, if you manage to leave the island, then he's gonna escape, and then you'll have nowhere that's safe.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that I'm not convinced 100%, but I do think that I'm just gonna add. It's very circumstantial, but I'm just gonna add this to the list of reasons why I think the Man in Black may have had some influence over Miss Hawking's plan.
hmm
I It really feels that way to me, and I don't think they ever followed that up or clarified it or confirmed it or anything like that. And it may not be true, but it feels true because it just feels like there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that there was overlap in what they wanted and even the language they're using.
How about this? You ready? I'm gonna blow your mind. You ready?
Okay.
So the same way you have the loophole scene you want to see, right? Man in Black
Yeah.
about his loophole. What if there was a version of that in the loophole scene where it's Man in Black talking to Miss Hawking? So it's
Yeah.
after she kills Dan in the
Oh,
past,
right. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Now that Dan is dead on the island, Man in Black can appear as him. So what if he appeared to
Ooh,
her?
the time travel loophole dead person.
Yes,
That's confusing.
exactly. Yep. And then
Oh
he
shit.
appeared to Miss Hawking as her dead son and told her something that helps contribute to his loophole idea. This
Oh
whole
my god, that is so
one day,
plausible.
one day you'll need to bring them all back together.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I believe it. I never thought about how he would come to her. I just kind of let that be because I did, but that's actually, oh, that's such an interesting. I wish, again, it makes me wish that they had dealt with the smoke monster in the 70s because it does raise a lot of interesting issues like that. Like if someone from the future dies in the 70s, can the smoke monster appear as them thereafter because they're technically dead on the island in the 70s? Like, oh, that's so weird. Like
Mhm.
he could have appeared as Dan even to Dan. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god. Oh my god, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's really
Wow. No, I like that. I like that. That's actually I didn't have a mechanism. That really helps. Yeah. Oh shit.
that's what they call me,
Wow.
Mr. Mechanism.
Wow, it's a new thing. I can't believe it's a new thing.
We're always finding new things.
Holy shit. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. I like because she'd be more inclined to listen. Like, yeah, it would totally work. Oh my god. Oh my god, it has to be all of them. Like, don't question me, mother. You already shot me once.
Exactly. Yeah, he could say, "Hey, mother, follow my diary to a T." You
Yeah.
know, Desmond Hume is my constant. Bullshit.
Yeah.
You
Ooh, pay
know,
that
there it is.
off.
Yeah, there it is. What your mother, what you need to do is make sure that Desmond Hume does the greatest thing he'll ever do
Oh
to
my
press the button.
god. Tie
Yeah,
that shit up.
there
Oh
it is.
man.
There it is right there. That's how it works. That's how you connect it.
Wow.
That's how you connect it. You have
Wow.
Thomas Hawking to give her a mission, right, of what she needs to go do. Yep, yep.
Why didn't they do that? It's like almost there. They had everything they needed.
Mhm.
Why does that keep happening?
They're always so close to the best version of what they ended up doing.
And then they just skip it and they're just like, yeah, it's fine. We'll just like,
Well,
instead of doing that, we'll just like not do
we
anything.
won't do anything. How about that? Is that good enough? That's the same.
Like, why? Why is that better? I don't understand.
Mhm.
Holy shit. Um, okay. So do you have anything else about that? I don't know. That's a wide-ranging topic. Sorry, I did want to say one more thing. I guess it's related enough that I'll just throw it in. So this, it's from earlier in the scene. So this is the why John Locke line. Um, you brought up that thing, like connecting this with Echo, which I think is actually a pretty good connection, and I think you're really on the right track with that. That that's the idea somehow that Echo maybe was going to be. It would have been weird if they literally did the same thing. I think that wouldn't necessarily have worked. I think it would have had it play out differently, but it does seem like maybe the Man in Black wanted to recruit or use Echo in the way he used Locke
Mhm.
because he had that belief, that he was brought here for a reason. So anyway, because he was stupid enough to believe he'd been brought here for a reason, because he pursued that belief until it got him killed. Okay, see, here's where this is the reason I'm bringing it up, right? Because you could
Yeah.
stop there, right? If
Yeah.
you stop there, Jack can still say he had to be dead before you could look like him, right? Because he just said it got him killed, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But he doesn't stop there. He says, and because you were kind enough to bring his body back here in a nice wooden box. And I just think the way that line is written is very ambiguous. I It seems to imply that it's not an like it.
You know
This
what
is
it is? I'm gonna split it up for you.
okay.
I just had this revelation of the second thing he could mean. He could mean that, not that. So okay. What are the variables on Man in Black able to turn into somebody, right? So one is that they have to be dead.
Right.
That's clear.
Yeah.
The second question is, do they have to be on does their dead body have to be on the island or not?
Yeah.
And I think traditionally we think he's saying, yes, you brought Locke's body back on the island, which enabled me to look like him. But maybe
Yeah.
he's saying the reason I chose him was because other people knew that he was dead, right? And
Yeah.
because his body was on the island, that was another. Basically, like he's saying, I could have looked like him whether his body was on the island or not, but I got a benefit by looking like someone who everybody knew was dead and had proof was dead. Like maybe that's what he's saying.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it that's what it makes me wonder. Like, what was the benefit that he got from the body specifically?
Hmm.
What you're saying is actually that makes sense. I remember entertaining the idea that, maybe if the body's there, he can assume the form in a more permanent way or something.
Hmm.
He can scan it. I don't know. He knew his dying thoughts, so I think he must have scanned it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think maybe he's saying I part of my game was having this Messiah resurrection story to tell people, and to again
mhm.
to play off of this idea that something special is happening, right? The whole reason the others thought Locke should be the leader anyway was about Man in Black and the whole time travel stuff, right? So this is the second part of that, right? This is him saying, I'm going to return as a guy everybody thinks is the leader of the others. And because everyone thinks he's dead, this will make it even more special.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this is part of the long
yeah.
con.
And I
And
do think that's true.
yeah, so that would mean he could look like dead people who didn't die on the island, which would add the Isabella
Yeah,
case.
right, right, right. It's just that, like, strategically,
Mm-hmm.
in this case, it helped that he had the body. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to have the body, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's interesting.
It
That's
is
interesting.
interesting. I haven't thought about that before. That
Actually
way.
actually, no, I haven't either, and but the other thing it makes me sort of wish that they followed up on here while they're doing info dump stuff, you know, since they're gonna talk about Christian, and I guess that is the pivot, right? Because right after that is when Jack asks about Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's, like, kind of interesting because, the parallel was there, they had the shoes, the coffin, blah, blah, blah. Um, I feel like a loose end that they never tie up, among others, is but the body was gone, whereas Locke's body was not gone. Like, did you just, well, I didn't have time to hide it, or, well, I wanted it to be there for, I don't know what reason exactly. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like he should have wanted it to be there. Like, why weren't the bodies there for Christian and Yemi too? Like, Yemi's body was there at first, but then it was gone. Um, so, like, why did you hide the bodies in those cases, but in this case, and of course Jack doesn't know about the Yemi one probably, so he's not
Mm-hmm.
going to ask about that, but he does know about his father's body not being there, um, famously. And I think it's interesting that
Well,
he
because
doesn't.
that's part of the ruse. He doesn't want people to think there is an entity on the island that can look like dead people. He wants people to think the dead people are alive again,
Right.
which means you have to hide the body.
Yeah. So then I guess it's just like, why did, like, I couldn't hide Locke's body
Mm-hmm.
um because the people were
Like it
around,
didn't
or I don't
matter.
know.
It didn't matter. He didn't need to, like the people who needed to be convinced were convinced. You know, right? Like
It just seems like a huge risk because, like, the way it worked out really well. Like, the reveal didn't happen until, like, his whole plan had already been done.
mhm.
So, but, like, that body was just sitting there on the Hydra Island in a coffin, and, like, so, like, Ben or something, if he,
Well, there's your
it,
question. Your question should be why bring Lot's body back at all,
yeah,
right? Because
it seems like a liability. If you're not going to hide it, like, if you hide it, then I get it, because
but that's
then,
that goes to my point though, is that he wants proof that Locke is dead. But the problem is, in one case that tells you, oh, maybe Locke has been resurrected. If you don't see the body, you think Locke
right,
is resurrected. If you do see the body, then you go, oh crap, there's a crazy entity who can look like
it's not
Locke.
Locke. Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like he's okay with either case, but I think he wants the first case for his plan of coercion and manipulation. And then he's fine if it transitions into the second case where they understand that he's something else,
I'm just
right?
imagining, like, picture the scene, okay?
Picture
Remember
it,
when
Sicily, 1958. All right, Golden Girls.
and action. Yeah, no, you're right. Classic, who is that? Estelle Getty?
Yeah,
Um,
Sophia.
Sophia, yeah, there you go. Always relevant. Um,
Always.
uh, uh, no, no, no. So, like, the first time, like, Ben wakes up on Hydra Island, he sees Locke, welcome back to the land of the living. And he's like, oh my God, you know? And then he's like, I knew this would happen. They have this whole thing, right?
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
And later on, Ben talks to the son and he's like, I didn't know this was going to happen. I have no idea what's going on. there's a world where I feel like a plausible scene would be Ben going to the coffin and opening it up, like, what the fuck, you know? Wanting a
Hmm.
look, like, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on. And then he sees the body, and now the whole con is off. You know what I mean? It blows the whole thing. It just feels like a huge risk. Like, because I think that could have happened. It didn't. And of course, they can write it where it doesn't happen. But you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
That's all I need.
Yeah, I think like it. I think a plan having risk doesn't mean you don't use the plan. So I definitely agree with you that there seems to be risk in his plan, but it still could have been his best plan. But I agree with you that there's definitely risk there for sure. The question is, what would his contingencies have been in that case, right? If somebody, so like you said, Ben goes earlier to discover Locke's not there. What's he gonna like? The Locke's body's in the coffin. Like,
Yeah.
then what's
Yeah.
Ben gonna
If
do?
you're Locke, like, who's that? You know,
Hmm.
like, what do you
Hmm.
say now? You know, and the whole ruse is like based
Well, and
on,
that goes back to the thing about Ben not even thinking the smoke monster could be a human form manipulating him to begin with, right? Like
right, which is
none of the
crazy.
people, yeah, goes, wait a minute, Locke, you don't seem like Locke. Maybe you're someone else. Like,
Yeah.
no one thinks that.
Yeah. Richard should have thought that. I mean,
Hmm.
Alex shows up to Ben at
Hmm.
clearly. I mean, even if he doesn't think it is the smoke monster, it seems clear that it's related because it comes like right after the smoke monster leaves
Yeah.
and
I
tells
mean,
him to
I think
follow
that's
Locke.
I have to say though, I think it's really reasonable for the typical character to not think that the apparition that they're seeing of a dead loved one is a smoke monster. You know, like it's just not intuitive that you would think, oh, this ghost is something other. You know what I mean? It's already otherworldly that you could see a ghost. So to say there's a second level of craziness on top of that, that's not even the real ghost. It's a smoke monster. It's like it's interesting, right? That the characters have to deal with that, and it makes sense that they almost all get conned by that because it's not an intuitive thing at all. If you see a dead loved one, for you to be so cynical to think it might not be them is weird. You'd have to have some sort of knowledge, right, of like the rules of this reality to say, oh, maybe it's a smoke monster that
Well,
could shapeshift.
you know, here's the thing, like, it's about the behavior. So, um, uh, like the big moment with Echo when he realizes it's not Yemi is when Yemi says, "You speak to me as if I were your brother," basically saying, "I'm not your brother."
Correct.
So that was a giveaway. I feel like for Ben, the suspicious part is when Alex says, "Do everything Locke says, or and if you try to hurt him again, I'll hunt you down and destroy you." I feel like that's the part where you go, "Is that really Alex?"
Hmm.
Because that doesn't really sound like Alex. And that sounds more like something maybe the smoke monster would say, or at least something that has a connection to the smoke monster or
But
can
maybe
summon
it's
it.
but maybe it's plausible that it sounds like Alex who's upset that Ben got her killed through his selfishness, right? Like
Yeah,
she's coming at it from that perspective of
true.
you fucked up now walk this tightrope that I'm telling you to walk or else I'm gonna I mean you're totally right that there is a way to hear that and go that's not Alex, right? But I think that's what Man in Black is counting on in all these cases is that that's just not intuitive. That you're gonna be like, oh, this is just a pissed off Alex, right?
Right.
Or because how do you know what a dead person's supposed to act like?
Yeah.
You know, especially if they're dead because of something you did. And so that's really what he capitalizes on. And I just wish it was more on purpose. I just wish he was more calculating as like a villain who has a master plan. And it's just weird when
Yeah.
he's hands off about things that could be really cool and he could take
Yeah.
credit for. And it's just super weird when he's like, nah, it's not that cool thing's not me. I didn't do that. It's like, well, why not though? Like you should have
Yeah.
claimed that.
Actually, that's a good pivot because that's the next thing I wanted to talk about. So, I wanted to talk about the Sun Saeed dichotomy.
Mm-hmm.
So, both of them make assertions that the Man in Black did something in
Mm-hmm.
this episode. And I never really noticed this parallel, but Sun confronts him directly and he
Mm-hmm.
says, I didn't do that. Saeed says it when he's not around. So he never gets to confront. He does claim to Saeed that he can bring back
Mm-hmm.
the thing he said he could bring back, whatever. A dead person. It's clear it's that at least. So he does claim he can bring back a dead person. So basically the question I want to ask that I think is unanswerable, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you think they're both wrong, both right, or is one of them right and one of them's wrong?
Well, I want to start with did Man in Black say he could bring someone back, or did he say he could let Saeed see that person again? Because I thought it was the latter.
Um all right, let's see.
Because
Let's see.
when it comes to ghosts and resurrections, you have to get semantical about it.
All right. Let me see how he phrased it because I don't remember exactly what was said here. Okay, let's see. Do. Um. Okay. Yeah. So the line is
What's
yeah.
the
This
line?
is very ambiguous. You're right. It said it's okay. The line is the only thing I ever wanted died in my arms, and I'll never see it again. And then Man in Black says, "What if you could?"
Well, that proves my point. Whatever my point was,
That's a lie. So he
it's
doesn't
so
claim he can
general.
bring her
Yeah,
back, but he
exactly.
does claim
That's my
that
point.
he could see
Okay, I
her
wanted to
again.
point that out because that leads into Saeed's problem of saying, hey, Man in Black brought me back. He can bring someone else I love back, right?
Yeah.
So
Actually, he
he's
basically states to Desmond that's why he believes it.
exactly, yeah,
Like
and so I think he's conflating something that Man in Black probably wouldn't take credit for. He'd probably
it
say, "Oh, so yeah, I didn't do it. I have anything to do with
right.
bringing back."
It's actually circular. Like I feel like it went I have no idea what happened and then like he seems to promise to bring back
Mm-hmm.
the mysterious woman and then he goes, "Oh, well if he can bring back a
Mm-hmm.
dead person, maybe he brought me back." And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, if he was really being circular with his logic, he should have said, "What person out there loves me enough for Man in Black to bring me back for them?"
right.
Like he's the Nadia or the Shannon, right? That's what
Yeah,
he could think. If
yeah.
he was really gonna think that, right? Like, well, because otherwise it begs the question: Well, why did Man in Black bring you back?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good question.
You
I wish
know?
he had asked because if he had asked it, then Man in Black would have had the chance to say, "I didn't bring you back.
Yep.
You came to
Exactly.
me." You know,
Mm-hmm.
I guess he
You
has to
died?
say
When you
like,
die?
yeah, exactly. Did you taint the water? Like taint
Yeah.
water? I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? Uh, so okay. So actually, there's separate aspects of the question that you sort of brought up as we were doing the commentary, which is like I guess there's a question of did he do it, and then the other question is like does he know that he did it? Like it's possible that he did the thing, but he doesn't even know it, or like the power of the smoke monster did it or
Mm-hmm.
something, but it's like passive. He's not even aware that it happened. You know?
The weird thing about bringing Saeed back and the whole water and the fountain thing is, and the whole darkness and Jacob's dead or alive thing is the weird thing is just that it's not clear if it's the water brings you back always, but depending on whether Jacob is alive or not, or the water is clear or not, you'll be claimed or not. Like that's what's weird to me about that whole idea.
Yeah.
Is Saeed only back because Man in Black claimed him, or did the water actually heal him? And the claiming came because Jacob was dead, or because the water was whatever. And
Right.
yeah, it's hard to figure out which parts of the puzzle actually relate to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you have like a?
I
I
thought that was
mean,
my answer. Was that not? That wasn't Your Honor? Was
no,
that
I
not
guess that is your
sufficient
answer.
for?
But
No.
so, do you think he had anything to do with son's English problems?
No.
Or was the only reason they put that in to like in case
If I
anyone
had
was
to
thinking
guess,
this?
I would say Sun's English problem is something to do with the Flash Sideways, right? Isn't she always speaking Korean in the Flash Sideways?
Yes. Yeah, I think in the Flash Highway she doesn't know English.
I think she hits her head, and it has that cognitive effect that the show keeps telling us that when you have a weird consciousness altering event, you connect to your death or to the Flash Sideways or
Oh, okay,
whatever.
okay, okay.
And I think that's when she
It's
hits
like
her
a mini version
head.
of what happened to Desmond.
Exactly. She's connecting to the Flash Sideways, and that's supposed to be some sort of clue.
Okay.
And Man in Black is correct that he had nothing to like. He's wrong that he was the one who chased her to the tree.
Right, right.
But in terms of the actual effect, it's that I think it's I that my guess is that it's about the Flash Sideways and not about Man in Black.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Saeed, I think um I don't know what I think about the claiming. I think the claiming is just it's almost worse than the cabin. I think, and
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree. I agree.
it's just all over the
It's
place.
related, but yeah, it's definitely worse than the cabin.
Yeah, it's just not clear what the boundaries are, and he never. And it seems like anyone who's claimed can be unclaimed by that has nothing to do with him, right? He doesn't have to like release control.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just like if an outside person, it's almost like claiming is just a word for allegiance.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think they kind of play it that way, you
Hmm.
know. And with this whole like, you know,
And
you
maybe that's what they mean. Like, oh, you're on his side, meaning you're part of his team, which just means like, you're claimed as in terms of like claiming team members, right? Like he's a
yeah.
recruit on your team, and that's what it
Yeah.
means. Not like and maybe the mental facilities of these people are secondary to that. It doesn't really relate. Maybe you can be claimed, on his team, quote unquote, but like not be Rousseau or not be Saeed Zombie, right? Maybe those are separate reasons. Like Claire and Saeed's behavior are, are tangential to the fact that they're, more or less on Man in Black's team,
Mhm.
and that we conflate those two
Yeah.
things, which is why it's confusing. But they're really separate things.
Right. Right.
Just like Jack. Jack's, by the end of this episode, Jack's on his team. Jack's not behaving, right, cognitively differently, right? Like Saeed and Claire
Right.
was, right? So maybe
Yeah.
this is the evidence of that idea, of like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. The claiming is just that if you're on his team or not, and he can convince you he's a good orator or raconteur or something,
Mhm.
and he's going to like tell you a story that'll make you be on his team, like
Yeah.
like Sawyer with a long con or something. I don't know. Like, is that supernatural or is it just he's a good talker, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I do feel like that's kind of what they're selling with Claire's lines about, you already joined his team when you let him talk to you or whatever. It's like they're conflating the two, but I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like the boundaries there are unclear because I feel like Dogan presented both ideas. He said like you can't let him talk to you or it'll be too late, but he also said, there's a darkness growing within you,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't seem like it has anything to do with joining his team. It's like internal. It's like I don't know, some kind of infestation or something, like,
Well, and that's what they should have said was they should have given us an example of a person who started out with a small darkness and the darkness overtook them,
hmm
and then say, hey, that's the person they'll be if
yeah,
if we don't stop them now. But they never gave us who that was
right,
or what that
right.
looks like. Is that who would that be? I mean, Man in Black never really had a number two.
No, no, he was mostly working alone
Mm-hmm.
for most of the time. I mean, yeah, yeah, all the cases that you have, like Claire and Saeed and Rousseau's team, like they're all kind of unique, and with the exception of Claire, like they happen pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't like a gradual process. Of course, with Claire, I don't even know how fast it happened because we didn't see it. So For all I know, she was totally crazy like a week after they left.
Yeah.
Like it's not clear. Or it took years. Like who knows?
Mm-hmm.
They don't really tell us. But I feel like that's probably the closest we could have because all the other cases, which are very few, happened within I don't know hours. Like from being normal to like full
Yeah,
claimed,
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
which is just
And
like
there's
a
another
bit
part of being
much.
claimed, which is the person's dead, but Man in Black is impersonating them and sort of
Hmm.
behaving differently.
Right, right. Yeah, and I do think with the Rousseau thing, there was a combination of the two because they had Montan down at the bottom dead, but he was also
Mm-hmm.
calling up. So it
Oh,
does seem like
Monton.
there was a bit of both there.
Monton, Monton, Monton. What are we gonna do with you, buddy? He's Montonymous. Uh, yeah, I guess that research paper is never gonna get filed, huh?
Yeah, probably not. The world will
Wasting
just
all
have to
that,
live without it.
yeah, wasting all that grant money.
Yeah, won't be the first time.
Take that, academia.
No offense.
All right. Well, this is a weird episode. It had a lot of interesting details. I think the main plot points weren't that interesting, but the details were kind of interesting.
Uh,
The smaller moments, Jack and
yes.
Locke talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. The big stuff was like a hodgepodgey mess, but yeah, it has some legendary individual moments, and those are the bits and bobs. And yeah, we managed to extract a lot from like a few very small moments in the episode.
Hmm.
Um, the rest of it was, yeah, just a bit tedious. It's like you go here, you go there, I'll go here, and then you'll be there, and we'll be here, and
It's like a square dancing.
yeah, it
You
is.
go here and we go there and I go here and you go there and you go here and we go.
That's pretty much it.
That's what I was hearing. I'm from the South, ladies and gentlemen.
Can all tell. But yeah, it's I think at the very least it I did enjoy it more than the last one. Um it felt less inert and it did have some interesting moments even if they're incomplete and frustrating. I mean, incomplete frustrating moments is like what we live for on this podcast. So,
Hmm.
you know, I'll take it, I guess. It's fine. I think it's probably going to be the worst episode of the last ones we watched. So hopefully it's all uphill from here. We'll
Hmm.
see. I don't know. I don't know how the next one's going to hold up with the whole submarine thing. We'll have to see.
I remember that being the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. So perhaps it'll make this one seem good in comparison.
All right.
I do think bringing Alana on as the lawyer was kind of a weird. I don't know. I guess it's a way to like have her on the show, even though
It
her
just
character
was weird because
died.
it could have been anybody. It could have been any character that we
Yeah,
want.
it didn't matter. You're
Yeah, it
right.
wasn't like, oh, Alana would have been a perfect lawyer, of course. Or,
Yeah,
oh, we knew she was a lawyer before Jacob like did whatever he did, and
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
It's very random,
yeah, it just was random for no apparent
just like a
reason.
cameo.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel that way about a lot of the random characters that just show up. But I think that one is like maybe a bit extra, like random, because they don't really do anything with the connection that Alana has with the characters.
Because she doesn't have one.
Well, there you go.
Thanks and namaste.
Wait, is that real?
Is that real? Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Okay, namaste and good luck.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks, namaste.
Namaste, good luck again.
Say.
Bip, bap, ba, dap, bop. Sorry, copy paste.
Clickety clickety.
Clickety, clickety.